Mr. Speaker, sir, the Honorable Prime Minister, Honorable Cabinet Ministers, Honorable Assistant Ministers, Honorable Leader of the Opposition, Honorable Members of Parliament, members of the media, fellow Fijians. I rise today in support of the 2026-2027 national budget presented under the theme, a responsible budget for a sustainable future. This is not a budget of excess, nor one of political convenience. It is a budget of responsibility grounded in the reality before us, a global fuel crisis, rising costs of government operations, pressure on public revenue, and our shared duty to protect the long-term stability of this nation. If you're asking why we use the term responsible, this budget has been crafted as a responsible budget of all those reasons. The budget is a call to sharpen our focus, to deliver a better value, and to continue to protect our people. I acknowledge the Honorable Prime Minister for his steady leadership during this period of global uncertainty, and the Honorable Minister for Finance, Commerce and Business Development, the Honorable Esra Manuel, and the hardworking team of the Ministry of Finance for presenting a budget that is honest about the challenges we face and disciplined in its response. The budget seeks to ask the ministers to tighten expenditure and reduce operational costs. As Minister responsible for Tourism and Civil Aviation, I accept that discipline fully. The global fuel crisis has affected every sector, every household, and every corner of our economy. When the country faces pressure, government must respond as one. No ministry stands outside this national reality. But let me be clear, this government has not stepped away from tourism and civil aviation. We have reduced where we must, protected where we should, and invested where it matters most. Mr. Speaker, sir, tourism remains one of Fiji's most important economic pillars, supporting employment, investment, foreign exchange earnings, small businesses, transport, agriculture, culture, and the livelihoods of thousands of Fijian families. Aviation is a bridge that connects Fiji to the world. In 2025, Fiji welcomed over 1 million visitors when air and cruise arrivals are counted together, a historic milestone for the sector. Tourism continues to contribute around 40% of national GDP, directly and indirectly showing why sustained investment in this sector matters. For tourism industry, aviation is not separate from tourism. It is central to it. The visitor arriving at Nadi International Airport, the family traveling to Taveuni, the community in Rotuma, Kandavu, Lau, Lomaipiti, relying on domestic air services are all part of the same national story. That is why, even within a reduced budget environment, this government continues to protect the core foundation of both sectors. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government continues to prioritize investment in infrastructure. As the Minister of Finance shared, we have 5,500 new rooms in the pipeline across major hotel developments valued at over $3 billion. But more hotels mean more supporting infrastructure. Fiji Airport is investing $700 million over 5 years, covering airport modernization, regional airport upgrades, digital technologies, renewable energy infrastructure, and aviation safety systems. The budget introduced a new Itoke Eco and cultural tourism incentive, providing a 7-year tax holiday for investments between $5 million and $10 million, and a 13-year holiday for investments above $10 million, subject to a minimum 30% Itoke shareholding. This creates a new investment pathway for community-based and cultural tourism products, supporting greater Itoke participation in the tourism sector. In addition, the extension of duty concessions on diesel for hotels and resorts for October 2026 will provide near-term operating cost relief for tourism operators. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation has been allocated $75.8 million in the 2026-2027 national budget, compared to $93 million in the previous financial year. We have a reduced budget, but what matters is where the allocation has been directed. Government has protected the areas that matter most to the long-term strength of tourism and aviation sectors. This is not a retreat, it is a careful recalibration. It reflects the broader whole of government effort to reduce operating costs while still protecting core investments in tourism Fiji, Novoliku, tourism MSMEs, domestic air services, civil aviation safety, and a civil aviation master plan. In other words, Mr. Speaker, sir, we are doing more than managing a reduced budget. We are making sure that every dollar supports our priorities and they keep our industry moving, our communities connected, and our national economy strong. In this financial year, Tourism Fiji received an allocation of $45.82 million. In 2027, 2026, 2027, they have been allocated $41.77 million, which includes $33 million for marketing and $8.77 million for operations. I acknowledge the reduction directly, Mr. Speaker, sir. For the past few months, we have seen the strength of the Fiji brand continue to reach our major visitor markets. Our destination remains recognized in our traditional markets, respected by industry partners, and loved by visitors who continue to choose Fiji. But the message for this budget year is clear. Every marketing dollar must now work harder. While recognizing that other competing destinations are spending more in key markets, Tourism Fiji will be more strategic, more targeted, and more accountable in how we promote our country. We must deepen digital marketing, strengthen airline and wholesale partnerships, and sharpen our focus not only on visitor arrivals, but on yield, value, and the impact tourism brings to our communities. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji cannot rely on beauty alone. Our true strength is our people. It is our culture, it is the warmth, generosity, and authenticity of the Fijian experience. That is what sets us apart, and that is what we must continue to take to the world. Mr. Speaker, sir, one of the most significant messages in this budget is the support provided to our national airline. Fiji Airways is a strategic national asset. It brings the majority of visitors to our shores, supports jobs across the tourism industry, and anchors Fiji's position as the aviation hub of the South Pacific. The fuel crisis has placed enormous pressure on the airline, and the government has responded. The budget provides for a planned $200 million government guarantee to support Fiji Airways, extend the law's carry forward provision for 8 years to 15 years, and provides relief through the waiving of fees and charges for 12 months. When Fiji Airways is strong, the entire tourism economy is stronger. Hotels, tour operators, restaurants, farmers, and families all benefit. On that note, though there are dissenting voices, the temporary tourism services tax must be understood in that broader context as part of the government effort to protect the aviation backbone that supports the tourism industry. Many airlines have reduced capacity to survive the crisis. But for Fiji Airways, it has continued to maximize capacity. This has been welcomed by the majority of our partners and suppliers from our source markets and our tourism operations in Fiji. Quite simply, Mr. Speaker, sir, when capacity is reduced, business activity is also reduced. When capacity is maximized, business activities operate at maximum level, benefiting all. Last week, Mr. Speaker, sir, the Radisson Blu Resort at Nanarau celebrated the Hotel of the Year Award for 2025, recognizing its outstanding performance and the best profit growth. This is for the Asia Pacific region, with some 67 resorts in contention in countries such as Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and others. Radisson Blu Fiji became #1 out of the constellation of Radisson hotels in the Asia Pacific. For all this to happen, we need capacity at maximum level, and Fiji salutes Fiji Airways for maintaining capacity at maximum level. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Nawoliku Tourism Development Program remains one of the most important long-term investments in the Fiji tourism future. This year, 20 million has been allocated. Context matters, Mr. Speaker, sir. However, the Nawoliku is a multi-year, World Bank supported program, just not by 1 year's allocation, but by its long-term purpose to unlock the tourism potential of Honolulu and Taveuni, and to ensure that development reaches beyond the traditional tourism belts. The program supports enabling infrastructure, including roads, airports, water, sanitation, energy, and waste management. When we invest in this infrastructure, we are building opportunities for small resorts, village stewards, young people in the north, and communities that have waited too long for their share of tourism benefits. Mr. Speaker, we are still in the first phase of a 10-year program where we set the foundations for the future of tourism in the north. This means having in place well-informed master plans, identifying what investments will carry us forward, and building institutional capacity building. Over the next two phases, we will take what we have learned and put it into action, and put in physical and social capital infrastructure that capitalizes on the findings from the first phase. These investments will prioritize the development of viable and official mid-sized infrastructure and essential services that will enable the opening of new areas of tourism investments. Private sector development will be a core. However, Mr. Speaker, we're already seeing some quick wins, such as the community-based tourism small-scale infrastructure grants and micro, small, and medium enterprises, women-led enterprise capacity building program. We have received over 300 applicants who will soon be supported. Mr. Speaker, our vision cannot stop at the borders of Honolulu. We are setting our sights further to the untapped potential in new frontiers like Lau, where we have spent this year laying the groundwork. And already seeing the quick wins. We are finding practical ways to turn vacant homes into vibrant community-based homestays. Mr. Speaker, one of the clearest signals in this budget is the continued support of the pilot tourism MSME fund, increased to $500,000, up from $400,000 last year, an increase of 35%. In a reduced physical environment, that increase carries a clear message. Tourism is not only about large hotels, it is also about small operators, family businesses, village experiences, cultural performers, tour guides, homestays, artisans, and community-based enterprises. Tourism not only brings visitors to Fiji, tourism must bring opportunities for Fijians. Our work under the Fiji Sustainable Tourism Framework continues to guide this direction. In a time of fiscal restraint, we must protect the programs that create the most direct impact in communities. In the 2 financial years that we have implemented this pilot, we have assisted approximately 40 tourism micro and small enterprises. Mr. Speaker, this is also the first budget period following the enactment of the Tourism Act 2026. Act number 7 of 2026 received presidential assent on 2 June 2026, making a major milestone in the modernization of Fiji's tourism governance. For decades, Fiji operated under an outdated legal framework that no longer reflected the diversity and complexity of the modern tourism industry. The Tourism Act 2026 gives us a modern platform to recognize, register, and support the full breadth of the industry, from adventure and cultural tourism to wellness, marine experiences, homestays, and digital platforms. Work is now underway on the regulations that will translate the Act into practical systems and standards for operators. This is about visibility, coordination, and opportunity. Fiji now has a legal foundation to govern its tourism industry the way it deserves, with clarity, fairness, and a framework built for what the industry actually is today. Mr. Speaker, sir, the budget also supports one of Fiji's key reforms to ensure people have fairer participation in growing tourism economy. The Commercial Use of Marine Areas Bill 2025, known as KUMA, will repeal the outdated regulation of Surfing Areas Act 2010 and establish a modern, transparent framework that recognizes the proprietary rights of customary owners over marine areas and for commercial tourism purposes. It empowers resource owners while providing certainty for investors through a fair and lawful process. Mr. Speaker, sir, the bill is currently in Parliament and undergoing public consultation through the Standing Committee process, and we expect to finalize the legislation during the new financial year. Mr. Speaker, sir, for a country of some 300 islands, aviation is not a luxury. It is a necessity that connects people to hospitals, schools, markets, families, and economic opportunity. The domestic air services subsidy has been allocated $2.31 million, an increase of $170,000, of approximately 7.9%. This matters for communities in Kondavu, Lau, Rotuma, and Loma Viti, where air services may not be commercially viable, but remain socially and economically essential. The increased support is particularly significant for the people of Lau. There is a Bureta Airport, Moala and Onelau, who can now once again enjoy regular air services after a lapse of more than a decade. The restoration of these routes reconnects communities that have long faced limited transport options, improving access to medical services, education, government services, business opportunities, and family networks. It also strengthens tourism and economic activity, ensuring the residents of these maritime islands are better connected to the rest of Fiji and able to share more fully in the country's development. Work will also progress on assessing future air connectivity options for now, with the aim of supporting economic growth, strengthening tourism, and improving access to markets and essential services for the people of the island. We will continue progressing the proposed Yasawa Airport project, building on the preliminary work undertaken. This initiative has the potential to transform connectivity in the region, opening new avenues for tourism, stimulating economic activity, supporting livelihoods, and bringing the benefits of growth closer to island communities. Mr. Speaker, sir, for the first time, Fiji has developed a long-term strategic blueprint for civil aviation infrastructure, services, safety, connectivity, and growth. The 2026-2027 budget is allocated $180,000 to implement Fiji's civil aviation master plan. Through this work, we are laying the foundation for a more connected, competitive, and future-ready aviation sector, one that strengthens Fiji's position as a regional aviation hub while creating new opportunities for economic growth, investment, and development across our islands. Mr. Speaker, sir, the government has made significant progress on the development of the Civil Aviation Bill, which will modernize Fiji's civil aviation legislative framework. Stakeholder consultations have been completed, and legislative drafting is currently underway. Work on the bill will continue in the 2026-2027 financial year, including its progression through the necessary approval process. This will ensure that Fiji maintains a robust, future-focused aviation regulatory framework that supports innovation, international compliance, and our continued position as a safe, secure, and reliable aviation hub in the Pacific. The Civil Aviation Authority of Fiji received an operating grant of $6.2 million, which has been revised accordingly with the whole of government grant reduction. The commitment to to aviation safety, however, remains firm and non-negotiable. There can be no compromise on safety. It is the foundation of public confidence, airline operations, and Fiji's credibility as an aviation hub. Mr. Speaker, sir, the 2026-2027 national budget recognizes the pressures before us, the global fuel crisis, rising operating costs, pressure on public revenue, and the need to manage national expenditure with discipline. So, to our tourism and aviation stakeholders, our message is clear. The Ministry of Tourism and Civil Aviation will continue to serve with focus, discipline, and determination. We will protect the industry. We will support connectivity. We will grow opportunities. I support the budget and will continue working to ensure that Fiji remains a resilient, competitive, and trusted tourism and aviation destination. God bless Fiji.